In the middle of the Nevada desert, there is a place that does not officially exist. No road signs point toward it. No maps show its true name. If you search for it using GPS, your device will simply show empty land, nothing but dust and silence and heat. But if you fly high enough above that stretch of desert, you will see something impossible to ignore. Massive hangars, endless runways, fences that stretch for miles, guarded by cameras, motion sensors, and men who will not hesitate to stop you before you get anywhere close. This is Area 51. For over half a century, the United States government refused to admit this place was real. And yet, it has become the single most infamous, most feared, most whispered about military installation on planet Earth. Tonight, we are going inside. We are going to explore the experiments, the cover-ups, the witnesses who risked everything to speak, and the secrets that may still be buried beneath that desert floor. Let's begin at the beginning. In 1955, the Central Intelligence Agency needed a location so remote, so isolated, that no civilian would ever stumble upon what was about to happen there. They found it near a dry lakebed called Groom Lake, deep inside the Nevada desert, roughly 90 miles north of Las Vegas. Officially, this land belonged to no one. It appeared on no public documents. For decades, if a journalist asked about it, they were met with silence or flat denial. But something was being built out there, something enormous. Runways longer than almost anything in the civilian world. Hangars large enough to hide aircraft the public had never seen. And a security perimeter so aggressive that, according to declassified reports, armed guards had standing authorization to use lethal force against anyone who crossed it without permission. Ask yourself this question: if there was nothing to hide, why did they need to hide it this well? The earliest confirmed purpose of Area 51 was the development of the U-2 spy plane, a reconnaissance aircraft designed to fly higher than any Soviet weapon could reach. This much the government eventually admitted, but former workers, engineers, technicians, security personnel have spent decades hinting that the U-2 was only the beginning. They described test flights of aircraft with no visible engines, lighting in the night sky that moved in ways no known aircraft could move, sounds, or the complete absence of sound, where a roaring jet engine should have been. Some of these stories can be explained. Experimental stealth technology, secret drone prototypes, advanced propulsion systems decades ahead of what the public was told existed. But some of these stories cannot be explained at all. To understand Area 51, we have to go back even further, to the summer of 1947 and a ranch outside Roswell, New Mexico. A rancher discovers strange wreckage scattered across his field, metallic, lightweight, unlike anything used in aviation at the time. The military's first statement is shocking in its honesty. They claim to have recovered a flying disc. Within 24 hours, that statement is retracted. The story changes. Suddenly, it was only a weather balloon. But those who saw the wreckage before the retraction tell a very different story. Materials that could not be cut, burned, or dented. Symbols on the debris that resembled no human alphabet. And, according to several witnesses who came forward decades later, more than just wreckage. Some claim the material recovered that day was quietly transported to a secret facility in the Nevada desert, to Area 51. Coincidence, or the beginning of everything that followed? Over the decades, a small number of individuals have broken their silence about what allegedly happens inside those hangars. One of the most famous is a physicist named Bob Lazar. In 1989, he came forward with a claim that shocked the world. He stated that he had worked at a facility near Area 51, reverse engineering propulsion technology from a craft that was, in his words, not built by human hands. He described an element unknown to modern science, a power source capable of bending gravity itself. and a level of secrecy so extreme that he claims his own life was threatened after he tried to speak publicly. The government has never confirmed his employment records existed, which, to skeptics, proves he was lying. But to believers, it proves exactly the opposite. Other former employees, speaking anonymously, have described similar things over the years. Underground levels extending far deeper than any public document admits. Restricted zones where even high-clearance personnel were not permitted. And equipment that defied conventional engineering, equipment nobody was ever allowed to explain. Residents of the small town of Roswell, Nevada, the closest civilian settlement to Area 51, have reported strange lights in the sky for decades. Objects that hover motionless, then vanish in a fraction of a second. Formations of light that split apart and reassemble. Aircraft with no visible means of propulsion, moving at speeds that seem to defy physics as we understand it. Some of this can likely be explained by classified drone testing and experimental aircraft the public has still never officially seen. But locals will tell you, not all of it fits that explanation. Highway 375, the road that runs past the base, has earned its own nickname because of these stories. They call it the Extraterrestrial Highway. For nearly 60 years, the United States government refused to confirm Area 51 existed at all. Then, in 2013, a Freedom of Information Act request forced the CIA's hand. A declassified document was released, and for the first time in history, the words Area 51 appeared in an official U.S. government record. The admission was narrow. It confirmed the base existed. It confirmed its role in testing the U-2 spy plane. It confirmed almost nothing else. No mention of Roswell. No mention of reverse-engineered technology. No mention of the witnesses, the whistleblowers, or the lights in the sky. Just enough truth to make you wonder how much more is still being hidden. To this day, Area 51 remains one of the most heavily protected locations on Earth. The airspace above it is permanently restricted. Unauthorized aircraft, including drones, are intercepted immediately. Motion sensors line the perimeter for miles in every direction. Warning signs state, in plain language, that deadly force is authorized against trespassers. Satellite imagery shows constant construction. New structures appear, old ones vanish, and no public explanation is ever given. Some researchers believe the facility now extends far underground into a network of tunnels and laboratories connecting to other classified sites across Nevada. Others believe the true secrets were moved elsewhere decades ago, and what remains at Area 51 today is simply a distraction. A name for the public to focus on, while the real work continues somewhere the world will never find. So what is the truth? Is Area 51 simply a testing ground for the most advanced aircraft on Earth? Technology so far ahead of its time that, when glimpsed by ordinary people, it looks like something from another world? Or is there something else out there in that desert? Something the government has spent 70 years trying to keep buried? Maybe we will never know for certain. But as long as those gates remain closed, as long as that airspace remains forbidden, as long as the witnesses keep whispering their stories into the dark, the mystery of Area 51 will never truly end. If you believe we are not alone in this universe, let us know in the comments below. And if this story kept you watching until the very end, subscribe, because there are more secrets still waiting to be uncovered.